Got a quick battle blast from Stormrunner and El Coli. El Choli. I'm going with E. coli. I don't know. And we have some new tech I wanted to talk about here. And nobody likes Cathay Box. So, Cathay, boxing. Pretty sure you can guess where this replay is going to go, but I still think it's worth watching. You have Jade Warriors and Peasant Long Spearmen, then a shit ton of archers, and all of their archers went with armored or armored and shielded variants. Jade Warrior crossbows, Celestial Dragon crossbows, and the Grace of Qinyin. And then we have Miao Ying with some healing and Talons of Night. Now, the tech piece I wanted to talk about... Oh, sorry, 1 second. Treekin getting Mark of Yin, so they lose a lot of their stat buffs, and they're just going to get massacred. For the Wood Elves, we do have 2 Way Watchers, one of which is the Hawkeyes of Jakira, 2 Blade Singers, who can just cleave through the front line if they get there without getting murdered, some Treekin, and then 2 Hawk Riders and Durthu. I was talking to Bwags about this versus Skaven, but Hawk Riders, their missiles suck. Like, Hawk Riders are just not having a good time in general, because their missile strength is really low and not armor-piercing in a lot of ways, and their model count just isn't that high, so they don't fire that many missiles. But they do have pretty good melee stats, 46 charge bonus and then 30-24 for melee stats, and a largely armor-piercing weapon strength. So I've wondered if people, well, I didn't wonder first, Bwags did, but he was wondering if people should use more like Ripperdactyl Riders and dive in. I didn't actually watch if he does that in this replay, but anyway. Durthu's going to run up. He overcasts Flock of Doom and Sword of Daith on this blob because the blob box type formation is so tight that he hits a ton of units with it. And before even getting here, that combination killed off a Celestial Dragon crossbow and got 2 Jade Warriors super low. Here come the Hawk Riders diving in onto the Grace of Kuan Yin? I'm going to go with Chi Yin, whatever. I don't speak Mandarin, so I'm not proficient. Now, the Hawk Riders are taking a lot of damage because Cathay things. 41 melee defense, 95 armor on these guys. But they are disrupting them. The other Hawk Riders dive straight in. They're getting good damage down. And man, all these guys are routing as Durthu is getting off a ton of damage. The Way Watchers in the distance are also firing in, really busting up this box. And the minus 16 leadership from the Hawkeyes of Drakira showing through. Blade Singers got to the front line, and Miao Ying really needs to cast Talons of Night on one of them and kill them off. But if they're not killed off, then they will massacre these guys. Unfortunately, the Hawk Riders, looks like their dive didn't get much accomplished. The Grace of Qiyin are just too good. Other Hawk Riders also not getting a lot of damage value. Yet. Durthu's still rampaging through. Blade Singers just peeling open the onion. That is the Cathay Box. As them and their Treekin friends slap through these guys. And already we're running out of any melee troops. It's mostly just random-ass archers. And now that the box is broken, these Hawk Riders are trying to get these guys out. Blade Riders are chasing down anybody that has routed. Other Hawk Riders attempted to rally and then immediately got routed again. But the Way Watchers are firing for free into this area. And Durthu gets out another Overcasted Flock of Doom on all these blobbed-up units. And the curse of the box/blob formation is present yet again. If you can have AoE spells that deal damage, you can punish them so much. Because that Sword of Daith did some pretty insane value. Blade Riders back in. Terror Routes will soon start taking hold, though actually Miao Ying's currently giving everybody ITP in this blob, but that'll wear off in a second or two here. And then they should all Terror Route. There it goes. It wears off. And the Terror Rats start. A lot of people routing. Miao Ying trying to save the situation by fighting Durthu. He's a pretty solid duelist in his own right, so he should be okay. And the Way Watchers are tearing her up. Holy crap. Another Flock of Doom, another Sword of Daith onto all these guys, and Durthu is just trying to kill this build once and for all. Everything is routing. Miao Ying takes a ton of damage, and the minus 16 leadership of Discourage does rout her. Army losses takes hold, and in less than 4 minutes, the Wood Elves stomp their way through a Cathay Box. Mostly on the back of Durthu. This would be risky if the enemy had cannons or Iron Hail Gunners, but without that, and you could deploy him in Vanguard, so he at least has less terrain to walk over. But man, that Sword of Daith plus Flock of Doom combo did seem really potent versus the Cathay Box. Blade Singers did alright. Way Watchers outranging the enemy and just firing in for free was great. Hawk Riders unfortunately didn't do a ton, but I think they cost 1,000 or something. So they got like half their value back. I still think they could be worth it as a disruption piece, but I don't know. I just thought it was cool to see them. Treekin got kind of massacred. On the other side, not a ton to talk about with the Cathay box, or box in general. It's just like, yeah, they existed. There's not like anything you can talk about as a caster like, oh man, look at that sick play where they stood around and relied on their stats to try and carry them through. But, I don't know. He didn't play it bad by any means. He played it fine. It's just a low agency build, so there's not a lot to talk about. GG.
Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.